I'm like, welcome to Kickin It Onside, where we're going to talk some foosball.
Great game.
What's that?
Football is a great table game.
Yes, it was. Foosball, I used to play foosball all the time. So, with me tonight, I have Rayshawn. And, of course, I have Bobbit, who was with me last year when we talked some football. And Heather is just on the other side of me. And as you can see, the little head here, that's Wendy. She's waving hi to everybody. I am thoroughly excited about this season. We will talk, and I know it is Saturday, and college football is taking place today. So, this week's games, we will talk about next week on the show. And Bobbit will head that up. He will be, every time I fucking do something, this kid is like, hey, mommy, I'm mommy now. Apparently, But Bobbit will be heading up the college corner for this year, but we will cover the top 10 tonight, as it was today. Actually, if you can, Bob, it'd be top 25. We can go through the top 25 real quick, and I can tell you if I agree with it or not. And that's essentially what we'll do. We'll talk about the football games in the college aspect of things. We're going to cover just one big game of the week, and we'll talk about maybe some other things happening in college football, and then we'll go from there. But mostly we're going to talk about the NFL. We're going to talk about, there isn't too much to talk about right now. We will get into a couple of things that are newsworthy, and I'll talk about Green Bay, of course. I'll let Heather talk about Baltimore. I'll let Rayshawn talk about Philadelphia. And I'll let Bobbit talk about who he's a fan of this week. You know I love you, Bobbit. But if you guys have anything newsworthy in the area where you live about your football teams, go ahead and let me know. Now, Chris, I know you are a Colts fan, but I don't care about the Colts. I honestly, that's just always been a thing with me. I'm not a fan of the Colts. You can talk about the CFL. Basement, if you want to talk about the CFL, go ahead, because I'll just laugh at you. I'm just kidding. I mean, CFL is football, but they have some fucked up rules. You can score points by just kicking the ball into the end zone. I don't understand that. It's so fucking weird. Like, you get a point for kicking the ball into the end zone on field goal. So no matter what, you're scoring fucking points.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's stupid. At least I think that's, if I remember, I was watching the game and that happened. I'm like, what the fuck? But no, Chris, if you have some news on the Colts, please do not be afraid to DM me or anybody, and if you have a question, don't be afraid to ask it. That's what this is about. If you're not a huge football person, now, Rayshawn, you've been watching football for how long now?
3 years.
3 years. So he asks questions, and I am more than happy to answer them to the best of my ability. Now, keep in mind, people, these are based on my opinions and what I see. Now, I'm a former football coach, not a huge football. I didn't coach in the NFL. I didn't coach college football. I coached a little bit of high school, but I know football. I've been around football ever since I was 1 year old. So I've been around football all my life. So just if you have a question that you would like to have answered, I will do the best of my ability to answer that question. If you're going to ask me a question about the salary cap, I'd have to look up the answer for you because I don't know. I don't know much about the financials of football. X's and O's, I'm your guy. people saying, well, why did they get rid of this guy? Sometimes it's just a money thing, and there's just nothing they can do about it. You see a lot of players getting cut. A lot of players that they signed for 7 years at $110 million, and then they're like, well, why did you cut him? Well, they had to cut some money somewhere because some of these players don't take, pay cuts or restructuring contracts and all that stuff. So, and this is why Tom Brady has been successful for years. He takes pay cuts. Why? Because he's all about winning. The money comes, but he is all about winning. Does it suck to see Tom Brady in the fucking Super Bowl every year? Sure.
Yeah.
But there's a reason why he's there. They build around him. He takes that pay cut so they can bring in that guy so that they can win. Aaron Rodgers, and we'll get into him. We'll talk about him, but I don't want to go too far away from the concept. Also, if you want to be a part of the picks this year, we will still do the prizes. Heather created a chat for you guys. Please keep it to the picks. If you want to ask a question, go ahead in there and ask that question. I'm going to make a suggestion to those to Rayshawn, Bobbit, Heather, and myself. If you see a question in there, write it down and delete it so it doesn't flood the chat. Like if there's... You need to... You put it in the Discord server for the picks. Okay. Oh! So if you want to be a part of that, do you add them to the Discord then? Yeah. So yes, Heather just told us, she's explaining shit to me. Heather's going to put the Discord, our Discord that we are on right here. If you want to make your picks in there as well. Do you want to ask questions in there? Go ahead, but try to keep it to the picks. And Heather created a chat in the Twitter DMs. Go ahead and put your picks in there. If you have questions in there, go ahead and ask them. I would suggest that everybody write them down. I'm pretty good at writing stuff because I check DMs all the time. Go ahead and write those questions down, and we'll answer them on the next show. I'm not going to answer DMs at this moment. So we'll have a little section at the end of the night where it's DM or questions in the DMs, something like that, something along those lines. We'll answer questions. So I want this to be interactive. I want the people that are watching this show, I want you to be interactive. Ask questions. It doesn't matter if you know anything about football or not. If you want to tell me I'm a dipshit, thank you for your concern. I don't give a fuck what you think. Because you know me. I don't take shit from nobody. So yeah. But that being said, what we're doing tonight is we're gonna spend 10 minutes on each division. There's 8 divisions, I think. No, NFL. Yes, there's 8 divisions in the NFL. We're going to talk about each division. I've got a timer. We're going to talk about them for about 10 minutes apiece. And then we'll go ahead and pick a winner of said division. I'll give hey, got a minute. Whatever. If we go over a couple of seconds, that's fine. But we're going to pick. You guys in the chat can pick, you can pick your winner. These are preseason picks. So whatever happens, happens. Like, I wasn't expecting Tampa Bay to win the division last year, but they did. In fact, I picked New Orleans to go to the Super Bowl, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
I think I did. I did. I think I picked New Orleans to go to the Super Bowl. But that's just me. I was wrong on all accounts. Nobody's perfect. So we'll spend 10 minutes, and then we'll pick our AFC champion and NFC champion, and then we'll pick our preseason Super Bowl winner. We will probably, if you want, you can go ahead and pick your 7 teams that you think are going to make the playoffs. I think that's how they're doing it. I don't know if there's any real specific rule changes this year in the NFL. And if there is, don't be afraid to, again, DM it. I didn't have a chance to look all that stuff up. I've been dealing with my dad. Mm-hmm. And for all of you that don't know, my dad has stage 4 cancer. So he has a few months to live, and we're trying to make the best of it, the best that we can. On top of that, be looking on the lookout. I think I'm putting it on my channel, kind of a story of his life. Like, we're going to sit down and record him. We're going to ask him a question and just let him talk. So you want some insight what it was like to live during the Vietnam era, or what it was like to live during the 1950s and 60s? Check that out. We're going to be doing that. That's just a project that I wanted to do, just to let everybody know who my dad was. And it's mostly for his grandchildren and great-grandchildren. So, and me, because I might want to hear his voice every once in a while. Because he's not going to be with us much longer, and I don't want to bring the show down, but I just wanted to tell you why I really haven't been too involved in stuff, been dealing with him. But enough said.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I don't think they mentioned any rules. The only rules that they mentioned was last year's rules that was already in play, and they were just hyping up that it's a new season where it's 17 games.
Okay, yeah, that's great. That is one rule change, and we'll talk about that in the news. Thank you because I almost forgot there's 17 games this year. Yeah. That is the one big change. So we'll talk about that when we get to it. So that being said, where do you guys want to start? You want to start in the AFC? You want to start in the NFC? Rayshawn seems like he wants to talk NFC East like right off the bat. Let's talk about the NFC East. So last year's champion in the NFC East was the Washington. I almost called them the Washington Redskins. Like I said, if I say that, don't think I'm racist. It's just I'm used to calling them. It's a slip of the tongue. Deal with it. You'll be all right in the fucking morning. All right. So don't all of a sudden cancel culture come after me because I keep saying Redskins. You'll be okay. It's gonna be all right. So last year, the Washington football team won the division. I think they went 7-9.
I'll look that up for you right now.
Yep. Okay, so they went 7-9, and there was some controversy with the Giants and Mike Judge losing his shit because the team quit in the middle of the game or whatever. And he said, well, you just screwed me out of a playoff. And all I could tell Mike Judge is, you should win more games, you dumbass. Don't blame the other team for, screwing you over. Deal with it. You've got to win more games. How many times did they beat the Washington football team last year? Can you look that up for me, Rayshawn? I don't think they beat Washington at all. So either way, they were going to lose the tiebreaker. Wait, no, they did, because if they would have both ended up with the same record. I don't remember. I know there was controversy. The Washington football team had to lose in order for them to make the playoffs. Or have the Giants win the division. So, yeah.
It was something like that.
So that being said, I'm going to start the timer, and so you got 10 minutes. Let's talk about the NFC East. Let's talk about the Washington football team who went 1-2 in the preseason. They have one of the best defenses in the league. In fact, I think they finished the second best defense in the league. They have a really good front seven. I think they're going to be right up there with the Cowboys. Now, I think the Cowboys are going to be pretty okay this year. I don't think they're winning the division, I think Washington is still going to win the division. The key pickup for Washington is Ryan Fitzpatrick. The 37-year-old, 16-year veteran who's played for 9 different teams throughout his NFL career is playing in Washington.
He was on the Cardinals last year?
Huh?
Was he on the Cardinals last year?
Yes. No, he played for the Dolphins.
Oh, Dolphins.
Yeah. Yep. Ryan Fitzpatrick played for the Dolphins. The Eagles, Rayshawn? We'll talk about the Eagles. What do you think? He's shaking his head already. Go ahead.
The Eagles is too young right now. They still shaping up that team. The defense got to step up. I think the defense on paper is good, but on the field, I don't know how that's going to go down. Like you mentioned all the time, they have to stay healthy. The Eagles can't be healthy for a game.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts, I don't know so much about this guy. He played a couple of games last year. He didn't impress me.
He did impress me against Green Bay. He looked pretty good. He gave Green Bay a scare. But I will say this, and I will say this to everybody right now. This is why you need to watch college football. You want to see what a player's going to do in the NFL? I could have told you Dwayne Haskins wasn't going to be shit in the NFL. He wasn't the answer in Washington. They drafted him hoping he was going to be the future, and he wasn't. Watch college football. It'll tell you who looks good and who doesn't, or who you think might be. It's hit and miss because you got to remember these are 19, 20, 21-year-old kids.
Yeah.
So they've only been playing football. They haven't been playing football as long as some of these guys that, like Aaron Rodgers, who's 37 and fucking, whatever. But with me, I personally, the Eagles are probably going to finish in third. And they're probably going to be 7-9-ish, 6-10. They're going to. The Giants, they're going to be good. I think they're going to be. The Eagles may very well finish in last place.
In their division or like overall?
In their division. The worst team in the NFC? Lions. Lions are atrocious.
I hope the Lions step up now. They going 13 and whatever.
The Lions are the Lions will accidentally win 3 games this year. On purpose, they might win 1, so they might go 4-12. But back to the Eagles and the Giants are going to bring up the rear. The Giants are going to be okay. Their defense is pretty good. Their offense, if Saquon Barkley is healthy, they could pose a threat. But I don't think they're going to pose a threat to either Dallas or Washington, in my eyes. It's going to be Dallas. It's going to be Dallas or Washington. I'm going to go with the safe bet. I'm going to go with Dallas just because they have a more potent offense than Washington does.
I don't think they're probably not going to let Saquon Barkley play so many games, but they want to keep him fresh, keep him healthy.
Well, yeah, but if it's a game like Washington, or if it's a game that they need him, he will play if he's healthy. Now, I don't know if he's back yet, but I know he's tore his ACL 2 years in a row. But when healthy, Saquon Barkley is a very good running back. The guy is very tough to bring down. The guy he's elusive. But yeah. So, Bobbitt, what say you?
I feel the same sentiments you do about the NFC East. I think it's going to come down between the football team and the Cowboys. And
Well, they're all football
I'm gonna,
teams.
the one actually called the Washington football team.
Okay, go ahead.
I just think the Cowboys is going to win the division this year,
Okay.
and I can easily see Washington sneak into the playoffs like they did last year.
I only think one team out of the NFC East this year. If Washington doesn't win the division, it's gonna Dallas. If anything, is a 9-7 team, maybe a 10-6 team. They might accidentally win more games than they should because of their offense. Their defense, a little shaky. Who are you picking there, Rayshawn?
Between Dallas and
Whoever. If you think Philadelphia's going to win the division, I'm going to laugh at you, but no, I'm not going to laugh at you. But go ahead. You got to remember, this is preseason. This doesn't count. We're just talking football. I know you don't want to pick either team because you don't like either team. I get you.
I'm going to just go with the Eagles.
Okay. I mean, you never know. They might do some things. Okay. Heather went to take care of Wendy, so she's probably going to pick either Washington or Dallas. I know she's going to go with Washington. So, yeah. What says the chat? What does the chat think? So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be up in the air. It's three out of the four teams. Maybe, well, I don't think there's much separation between either of the four teams. This is the toughest division to pick because they all are.
Yes.
They're not terrible. They're just not as good as everybody else.
The Giants is not a contender between the four. The Eagles, shaky. A little shaky.
Well, I think all four teams are shaky. You just never know what you're going to get. All four of them teams are young. Well, Dallas isn't. Dallas should be the cream of that fucking division, but they don't know how to fucking. I don't know what it is.
I think they still have Ezekiel Elliott, right? He should be fine.
They have Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, Amari Cooper. They have talent. They have one of the most talented offenses in the NFL, but they just can't. They cannot win games. Yeah. And I think even with Dak Prescott last year, if he would have stayed healthy, I don't think Dallas was about as good as they were last year. That's all I'm going to say. I don't want to say bad things about Dallas. I do, because I'm
Let me just go with my Eagles.
Well, they've had this kind of talent forever, and it's just the team. I don't know if it's because they have so much talent that they're all full of individuals. I personally think this, and I've been saying it for fucking years, Jerry Jones is the problem in Dallas.
He's a huge problem in Dallas.
But the problem is he's a general manager as well. So he has every right to be involved in the decision-making process because he's a general manager.
As far as the players go, they're not the players.
He's the general manager. He oversees player personnel and just team operations in general. I don't think it's fair, but it is what it is. Right. So we did that pretty good. Let's move on to... keep your picks in mind.
I'm writing them down.
Okay, so the AFC East. And the winner of this division last year was the Buffalo Bills. Mm-hmm. And I watched Buffalo play once this year, and they played against the Packers. It was against the Packers. And although they were able to move the ball well, They only scored 7 points as a first team offense against the third string defense of Green Bay. And it's scary to say this, but that first string defense was playing against Green Bay, and Green Bay was able to move the ball up and down the field on them. And they were playing Jordan Love, who is going to be their backup. They were playing second and third string guys.
Mm-hmm.
Buffalo's going to end up winning the AFC East. Well, don't count out New England. Don't count out New England. But you can't ever count New England out.
No, their defense is crazy.
They have Bill Belichick.
But
Buffalo will probably. I think they're going to be they're going to win the AFC this year. I think they're going to beat Kansas City. They have, as long as they continue to play consistent, they have to get in the end zone, though. You can't just kick field goals against Kansas City. You have to score touchdowns because Kansas City will find a way to win. Kansas City, I don't think, is going to be as good as they usually are. And the problem is Patrick Mahomes. They gave him too much fucking money.
Well, the thing is, he was humble.
I don't give a shit. He still got paid it, right? They could have gone to some players that they could have gotten. So I'm gonna go with the Jets are gonna finish in last.
of course.
And then it's going to be a toss-up between Miami and New England for second, and then Buffalo should win the division. Now, that being said, New England did release Cam Newton, and I personally, in my eyes, now this is just my fucking opinion, and I'm going to talk about this in the news and notes. I don't think being vaccinated should be an issue. If you're following all of the fucking protocols, you can say whatever the fuck you want. But coming out and saying why you don't believe in vaccinations should not be a reason you get cut from a fucking football team. That is lazy and ineptitude. This is why New England could run into problems. But I think it's going to be the second place between like Miami and Buffalo. Or Miami and New England, and I think Buffalo is going to end up winning the division. Rayshawn?
I'll agree with you. Buffalo never failed, but they never made it as far as I want them to go. But I know that they can. They have the weapons. They
do. They've made it there 4 times and lost 4 years in a row, if everybody remembers. Yes. Buffalo has been there before. They made it to the AFC Championship game, but they got...
I always want them to go to the Super Bowl, and they never do. But overall, as far as the season wise, they never failed me. So for that reason, I am going to pick Buffalo over New England. New England had a horrible season last year.
Yep, I hear you.
For Cam Newton.
Yep, I hear you. Bobbitt?
Sorry, JP.
Sorry.
I was in the bathroom. So we're talking about the Bills Patriots division.
The AFC East, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Say okay one more time. For every time Bobbitt says okay, he's got a drink.
I think the Bills is going to be good again this year, and I see them winning the division, and I see the Patriots sneaking in the playoffs.
I mean, I can't disagree with that. I don't think Mac Jones is the answer in Buffalo, though. I think Bill Belichick's going to be he's going to be a game manager. He's not going to let this kid do whatever the fuck he wants. He is no Tom Brady. I say that right now. Everybody's comparing him to Tom Brady, but he is no Tom Brady. He came from Alabama, where there's a difference between Alabama Open and NFL Open, okay? If you play for Alabama, you're open as soon as the play starts. There's a huge fucking difference. So, yeah. They get all the best players every year. It's just the way of the world. It's just the way of the world. There's nothing anybody can do about it. It's just until Nick Saban goes away, that's going to happen. So, Heather, who you got?
As much as I always say I never really root for any team because they always end up choking, they seem to have the team together now, and they've had the weapons there. It's just last year they just gathered the weapons. Maybe this year things will be different for them, and they'll get there.
So what Heather is, I don't know if y'all heard Heather. She said they have the weapons. Those weapons, they gathered them last year, and I get what she's saying. She said they put the pieces together. This is the year that they put those pieces in place, and they take it to the next level. The next level is making it to the Super Bowl. If they're going to get there, I think they have a chance to.
I think they have the chance to.
I think Kansas City, everybody's saying Kansas City fixed their problems. I don't think they did. I don't think Kansas City fixed their problems. I think they took a step back. That doesn't mean that they're not going to be right there, but I don't think they're as good as Buffalo is this year. That I could be wrong about. I've been wrong before. Because Patrick Mahomes is that kind of player. He's an Aaron Rodgers, and I'm going to fucking compare him to Aaron Rodgers, everybody. He's that kind of fucking player that can fucking pull something out of his fucking ass and make something happen. And I'm not going to lie, Aaron Rodgers has pulled some shit out of his ass. Okay? Do I like some of the things Aaron Rodgers does sometimes? No, absolutely not. I think some of the decisions he makes are like he throws the ball away when he should just try to make a fucking play every once in a while. There's nothing wrong with throwing an interception. You don't have to have 155 QB rating every fucking game. But that being said, Patrick Mahomes is one of those guys that can, just like fucking Tom Brady, finds a way to fucking win all the fucking time. I think we hit pretty much. That was pretty quick. Because I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this about the Dolphins. They have really good young talent. I just don't know if Tua Tagovailoa is really the answer in Miami. Again, he was a quarterback from Alabama where everybody was wide open right away. And if you watch Tua Tagovailoa play against Clemson the year Clemson had all those fucking NFL guys playing for him that are playing in the NFL now, he didn't cut it. This is why I watch college football as well as the NFL. You can now, I'm not saying I'm a fucking great scout and hey, every NFL team fucking hire me. I'm not saying that. Right. I would love to work for an NFL team someday, but I'm 48. I don't know if that's ever going to happen. I personally, just from what I see, I just don't see Tua taking that. I don't think he has it in him to get them to that next level. I could be wrong. I was wrong about Baker Mayfield. I was wrong about Kyler Murray. But the only thing, I still don't think Baker Mayfield is all that. I wish Baker Mayfield had a better attitude. That's where I fucking just fall short with that guy. It's my only issue with him. But that being said, I wanted to throw that out there. I'm not throwing Buffalo or Miami under the bus here. I just really think Buffalo is that much better than everybody else.
Yeah.
Miami might slip into the playoffs. I mean, they almost did last year. They went 10-6, but they just didn't make the playoffs because they lost the game when they should have won. And Baltimore ended up getting in. So there's that. Let's go to the NFC South.
NFC South.
The winner of the NFC South last year was the New Orleans Saints. However, the world champions came from the NFC South and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year.
Right.
Carolina is one of those sleeper teams. I don't think they're going to be great by any means because they did lose some players. They lost some of their offensive weapons. They lost Chris Samuel, who was he's now in Washington, which is another reason why I think Washington is still one of the better teams in the NFC East. Carolina will be better this year as long as Christian McCaffrey stays healthy. And they allow, and I think Matt Rule is a good coach for Sam Darnold. He can kind of rein in Sam Darnold and let him get into the flow of the game. I've said it, and I'll continue to say it. I don't think Zach Wilson from the Jets is any better than Sam Darnold. In fact, I think Sam Darnold is way better than Zach Wilson is. I don't know what the Jets were looking at in this guy. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to sit here and say I can make that throw because there's no way I can make some of the throws that these kids make. I'm 48. Maybe back in the fucking day I could have. But I don't know because I never played college football. I watched a lot of college football, but that doesn't mean anything. I don't see Zach Wilson being that guy that can take it to that next step. I'm sorry. And people can say, oh, you're just saying that because you don't like Zach Wilson. Who did Zach Wilson play that was really good? That's what I thought. Just saying. Silence is golden, right? And I know I didn't get anybody. I mean, if you can find a team that Zach Wilson actually played. I know he played for BYU. But who did BYU play that would say, oh, Zach Wilson is the next big thing in the NFL? That's what I'm getting at. Who did BYU play that would say, oh, wow, this guy has it? That's the question that needs to be answered. And I can honestly tell you, I haven't seen it. Can he make throws? It's just like Justin Fields. Can he make the throws? Personally, I think Justin Fields is a better player than Zach Wilson. Do I think Justin Fields is going to make it in the NFL? That is to be seen. Because if he was the next big thing, Justin Fields being the next big thing, why isn't he starting? If he is supposed to be that good, why isn't he starting?
Talk about it.
Just saying. Matt Nagy is afraid to start Justin Fields because he's afraid he's going to lose his fucking job. That's why Matt Nagy is not starting Justin Fields. Because I don't think Matt Nagy is as good of an NFL head coach as everybody thinks he is.
I don't think he is either.
So, that being said, where were the NFC South?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Tampa Bay. New Orleans is not going to be as good. They don't have Drew Brees. Who's the wide receiver in New Orleans? What's his name? Michael Thomas.
Yeah, Michael Thomas.
They don't think he's going to ever be the player he was. That one time, he was considered the best receiver in the NFL. And I can honestly say, and this isn't just because I'm a Packer fan, Davante Adams is absolutely the best wide receiver in the NFL today. The guy stays healthy. Even when he is fucking hurt and out for a few weeks, you look at the numbers he put up last year. Him and Aaron Rodgers single-handedly in some games won football games for Green Bay because both of them are so in tune to each other that you can't fucking stop them. You cannot, nobody, I have yet, Jalen Ramsey, who is considered to be the best wide receiver in the NFL, could not cover Davante Adams. That is saying a lot about Davante Adams. That being said, getting back to what I was talking about, when you have a collection of players like Tom Brady does around him, you can't not pick them. They have probably one of the most potent offenses in the NFL. It's up there with Green Bay. And yes, I'm comparing them to Green Bay because Green Bay had the most potent offense in the NFL last year. They did. Most consistently potent offense in the NFL. Yes, they had games where they didn't look good, but that's a given. It's the NFL.
Is Antonio Brown still playing for the Buccaneers?
Yep.
He's on his last leg, so.
Yep, he still plays in Tampa Bay.
Oh, I thought they got rid of that.
So they have, on offense, they have Tom Brady, Leonard Fournette, Jones, the other running back, Micah Evans, Chris Godwin, and Antonio Brown. They have 6 guys that could start on any other NFL team. Defensively, they're one of the better teams in the NFL. In fact, they're the number 1 defense in the NFL last year. That being said, some of the players are getting older. Are they always going to be that good?
No.
You can't rely on one guy all the fucking time. Look at Green Bay. They did that with Clay Matthews, and look what happened. Clay Matthews, they couldn't do it. They couldn't get it done. Can't rely on one guy to do everything. And Tampa Bay's got a good secondary, but they can be beat. They can be beat. They should have been beat in the NFC Championship game last year.
What do you get insight for the Falcons?
The Falcons, probably the worst team in the NFC South.
No.
I mean, they have probably the best tight end coming out of the draft this year in Kyle Pitts. But they have Calvin Ridley, who's a pretty good receiver. They still have Matt Ryan, who's okay. Their offensive line needs a lot of work. Defensively, I think they're a work in progress. They're going to probably be right there with Detroit. 5-11, 4-12, something like that. Maybe 6-10. They might accidentally win a couple more games than they should.
Well, this year will be what, like 4-13, right?
Yeah. Well, okay. So yeah, because I keep forgetting there's 17 games. So 5-12.
5-12.
I'll give them that one extra win. I'll give every team one extra win. There will be no 0-17 teams. There will be one win at least for every team this year. Even the Jaguars, who we'll get to next.
Oh.
What do you say, Rayshawn? I'm going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Who you got, Rayshawn?
I want to go with the Panthers just to like spice it up a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I will have to go with Buccaneers too. Just for like the better team, that's all.
Yep, they're just the cream of the crop in the NFC South. Now New Orleans is right there, but they don't have the weapons that Tampa Bay does. Well, I mean, Jameis Winston looks like Sean Payton's a really good coach. Who you got? They're going to be close. Tampa Bay is probably only going to win 11 games this year. They're going to lose 5 again, or 6. Well, they might go 12-5, but we'll see. Bobbit, who you got? Are you pooping again? Bobbit! Here we go with this. I had to do this last year all the time. Bob bit. Unmute. Okay. We'll come back to him. Apparently he fucking walked away again. Okay. The AFC South. Because this was the Panthers division. That's why I did this. The AFC. Scared the shit out of me.
It's just as hard.
No, we did the Panthers division just now.
No,
NFC.
AFC South.
Oh.
So this is the AFC South is Jacksonville, Houston, Indianapolis, and Tennessee. If Tennessee's fixed their defense, they're going to win the division. I think they did.
I think the Tennessee Titans is the threat of that whole division.
I think they can be if they fix their defensive issues. If not, I don't want to fucking do this. I'm going to pick Indianapolis because the other two teams suck. Jacksonville, they got the best. They got the best quarterback. They've got a sure thing in Jacksonville with Trevor Lawrence. I've been saying it, and I will continue to say it. I think I would have picked Trevor Lawrence over Peyton Manning if they were coming out at the same time. Why? Because Trevor Lawrence is more of an athlete than Peyton Manning is. I'm not saying that they wouldn't. They'd be 1 and 2. But I think Trevor Lawrence, if they can, and that's a whole nother issue. I don't want to talk fucking wrestling, but as long as the cons focus on what makes them actually money instead of fucking taking money out of their pocket and not getting a return investment on it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with Indianapolis. However, if Tennessee, and this is I'm going to say that they did shore up their defense, and I'm going to pick Tennessee. And I don't want to fucking have to pick Indianapolis, but if they didn't fix their defense, I'm going to go with Indianapolis because they have a better offense and they have a better defense.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go. I'm going with Tennessee.
I agree.
Rayshawn agrees. Heather?
Yeah.
Given that they were so well, and they fought hard against the Ravens, I am going to go with the Titans.
Yep. Bobbit, are you back yet? It's doing it to me again. All right. Moving on to the next game. Because I haven't got much to say about the AFC. Like I said, I'm picking the Titans. Now, that being said, Jacksonville is an up-and-coming team. They got a lot of good young talent.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, AEW is in their way of becoming that elite team. They're investing money where it shouldn't be invested. And that's just me. That's an opinion, people. That's an opinion. I don't watch AEW because I don't care for AEW. I just think opinion-wise, yes, their fencing business makes them their money, allowed them the way to buy the Jaguars, or bring the Jaguars into existence. But I'm not going to sit here and say that this other fucking thing is not causing problems.
Yeah.
Because they're paying out of their pocket for this one thing. When you pay tens of millions of dollars, 8 figures, for a video game creation out of your own pocket, and then have an ego like a fucking douche canoe to say, well, I'll make that money back. This guy's ego is this fucking big. And if he's not careful, he's going to bankrupt. It's gonna happen. Forking out money isn't the fucking answer. Sometimes you have to say no. Let's do this first. This is the only wrestling talk that I will have. This is why WWE is so successful. Why? Because they only invest their money, the WWE's money, the profits from their shows, back into toys and fucking video games and all this other stuff that they're doing. And they're still making a profit off of it. So don't buy into the fact, well, AEW's creating a video game. And like I said, the video game itself looks like WWE Battlegrounds. I ain't going to fucking play it. Fuck, I don't even play WWE 2K, whatever fucktard that shit is. WWE 2K glitch my ass. That's what it is. But I don't want to stray off too far, but that's where I see Jacksonville. If the Cons can focus on where the money is at, they should be okay. Mm-hmm. Trevor Lawrence will make them more fucking money than Kenny Omega will in the long run, if they do it right. That's just me personally. That's all I'm going to say. It'd make more money than CM Punk ever will. I can tell you right now, Trevor Lawrence is more popular than CM Punk. The only reason people and wrestling fans will tell you that's not true, but okay. Football's more popular than fucking wrestling. How about that? Let's get that out of the fucking way right now. I'm not going to sit here and argue that fucking point with fucking bunch of morons. There's a reason why the NFL makes billions themselves. It's the most popular. It's the second most popular sport in the world. Let's try it out.
What they're talking about.
Well, actually, it's not the second most popular, but it's up there. If wrestling was in competition with football for ratings and a ratings system really was working, football would win every fucking time, no matter what. Even back in the fucking Attitude Era. Why? Because I'd rather watch football than men roll around in their fucking underwear telling soap opera stories to each other all day. I'm a wrestling fan, by the way. So there's that. So moving on. There's my fucking wrestling rant for the night. So moving on, we're going to do the NFC North. And this is where we're gonna talk, and I'll try to keep it to 10 minutes. No, I'm kidding. I'm not gonna talk very much on this one. Green Bay is the cream of the crop in this division. Chicago will finish in third. Justin Fields, everybody's saying this is Justin Fields' division now. And the fucking clown-ass fucking Chicago Bears fans don't fucking even realize that he's not even fucking playing this year. The only way he's getting on the fucking field is if Chicago has a blowout or Andy Dalton gets hurt.
So you said the Bears are coming in third. Who's coming in second? Vikings?
Vikings will finish in second. I think personally, Vikings finish in second. Green Bay is going to be the cream of the crop in the NFC North, at least for this year. If Aaron Rodgers was not playing for Green Bay this year, and we'll talk about that, I want to go on. That's going to be my rant for the weekend. If you guys want something to rant about, by all means, go ahead. I will do a rant of the week for one, but it might be on a fucking referees. It might be on a fucking rule in the NFL. It might be on a player and what I think. But yeah, so I Green Bay, because Aaron is back and they went out and they got some players, which I will talk about when it comes time, because what I think is happening in Green Bay is a travesty. And if this is the way the NFL is going, then why do we even have fucking head coaches and GMs? That's all I'm going to fucking say. And if that's a teaser of what I'm going to talk about, because I think what's happening in the NFL today is bullshit when it comes to fucking players having a say-so. So I just gave away what I'm going to talk about. But like I said, Green Bay, they're probably going to go 13-4, 12-5. They may go 11-6, but I think they're winning the NFC North. They have their defense. They have all the pieces. They just need to put it all together. And this year might be the year that they make it. Even though they've already been to a Super Bowl, and not every team can get to the fucking Super Bowl, Detroit Lions, I just don't. I hope this is their year. I'm not sure it is. We shall see. Rayshawn, what say you?
I was going to say, it's funny that you said that the Bears are going to finish in third, because last year they finished in second.
Yes, but Minnesota fixed some things.
Okay.
What did Chicago fix? They went out and got a couple of pieces.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, man. I mean, it's going to be a toss-up. I think personally Minnesota might be the better team.
On paper, yes. However, Minnesota, for the last 2 years alone, wasn't playing really well.
You are correct. But neither was Chicago either.
I mean, it's Chicago.
I personally think, if Chicago wins the division this year, I will drink. I will do shots of whiskey. I will do shots of whiskey, which I don't do whiskey shots ever because I hate the taste of it. It's just like Taco Bell.
Oh, come on. Don't ever do that, please.
I already did it. Remember fucking WrestleMania 36? Remember WrestleMania 36?
God. That's oh, come on. Cognac is Taco Bell.
No, what I'm just saying. I can't drink whiskey. For some reason I don't like the taste of it. But that's like me eating 3 tacos. The 3 things that I shouldn't have happened at WrestleMania 36 happened.
Yeah.
And I ended up having to eat fucking tacos. That ain't fucking happening again. So I'm gonna pick whiskey, something that I will I'll puke it up, but I won't hate myself. Well, I might hate myself later on. Well, if I puke it out, that means, whatever.
When that comes, I'll take shots with you.
Okay, fair enough. But you have to do a shots of something you don't like, though. Can't do shots of something.
Never mind, you by yourself with that.
So, go ahead.
I agree with you. I will pick the Packers to win this division.
Okay. Fair enough.
As far as place, I'm gonna do the Bears.
You're gonna pick the Bears?
I am gonna pick the Bears. And if they come in third, JP, I will do shots of something I don't like.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Can you keep track of that? If the Bears win the division, I will do shots of a whiskey. If the Bears finish in third, Rayshawn will do shots of What? So you're saying the Bears will finish no worse than second?
Yeah.
If they finish in third or last, you have to do the shot. Gotcha. Fair enough. Fair enough. I'll take that. I think I have a better chance of not doing a shot than you.
Anything could happen on that.
He'll do a shot of something he don't like. Mobbit, are you back yet? No? Okay. All right. So moving on to the next game. Or next division. Wait, was that Bobbit? Never mind. We'll do the NFC, the AFC North. And last year, the Pittsburgh Steelers, didn't the Pittsburgh Steelers win this division last year? Yes, they did. They won this division last year, but barely. Baltimore finished in second. Cleveland missed out on the playoffs last year, and then the Bengals brought up the rear like they usually do. That being said, I'm picking the Ravens this year. Now, the Browns are going to be right there. The Steelers, I don't know if they're going to be there this year or not. They do have Ben Roethlisberger, but I don't know if he still has Juju Smith-Schuster, but they don't have the running game they did. They did get Najee Harris in the draft. We shall see. I think Baltimore is the better team. They have the better defense. The problem with the Ravens this year, one of the things that hurts them is they lost J.K. Dobbins for the year to an ACL injury. He's their second-year running back, and he was their starter. The one good thing that Baltimore did in the offseason is they re-signed Gus Edwards. Which was a smart move by Baltimore because now they have stability and I think he re-signed for another
3 years.
2-year extension. So he signed a 1-year deal, and then he signed a 2-year extension with Baltimore. So they have him for the next 3 years, and having him as a backup is huge for them. He's pretty good.
He's their best pusher when it comes to running.
Correct. So I am taking Baltimore, but do not count out Cleveland because they have that defense. They do have a defense. They do have an offense. We shall see, though. I think Baltimore is going to be that team this year. I think they may be that team that takes that next step.
They have the makings for it even without J.K. Dobbins.
Well, they do, but it's all depends on what Lamar Jackson does this year. If he can stay healthy, they have a chance. Yeah. I'm picking Baltimore. Rayshawn, what about you?
Yeah. I want to pick Baltimore. I really do.
Then pick them.
I believe I said last year, 2 years in a row, that I want the Ravens. I feel like they deserve to be in the Super Bowl right now and have a ring under their belt. Modern time right now. Right. And they haven't gone. Now the Browns, since I've been watching football, the Browns has been stepping up. They've been getting better and getting better and getting better, and you could visually see that.
Yes.
And with the Steelers, they got a old quarterback. They got some players. They got some receivers and whatnot. Defense compared to Ravens, I think the Ravens got a better defense. I'm going with Browns.
Okay.
With Ravens second place and Steelers in third place.
Okay. Heather, I already know who Heather's going to pick. Right? I don't even need to ask. She's going to pick Baltimore. She'd pick Baltimore even if they were going to suck.
Hey, I picked the Eagles earlier, so.
She's a true fan. She's a true fan of her team, which I'm fine with. But sometimes you got to be a fan of just football in general to be.
I did pick against them a couple times last year.
Well, yeah. I should have picked against them a couple of times and did not. But So yeah, I agree. Baltimore. I picked Baltimore, but I'm not sleeping on Cleveland. I did sleep on Cleveland last year, and it wasn't because of Baker Mayfield. It was because of their run game and their defense.
Mm-hmm. They've gotten better over the course of 3 years.
Yes, they have to continue to stay better. So that being said, we're moving through this. The last division in the did we start? Yeah, we did start with the NFC West, and last year didn't the Seahawks win that division, or was it the Los Angeles Rams?
It was Seahawks.
Okay, so the Seattle Seahawks won the division, but the Los Angeles Rams made the playoffs. The Los Angeles Rams made the significant move by trading Jared Goff to Detroit for Matthew Stafford and future first-round picks. Do you think the Rams have done enough? Yes. So the Brewers just had a complete game. For the first time and for fucking ever. Sorry. So, and that's like throwing a no-hitter here in Milwaukee because Craig Counsell pulls his fucking pitcher 4 innings into a game for some fucking reason. Do you think the Rams did enough to overtake Seattle or even San Francisco, who is supposed to be healthy and supposed to... We'll see. I mean, San Francisco is going to have pretty good defense, but so my question to you, Rayshawn, is: do you think Los Angeles is the cream of the crop in the NFC West, keeping in mind that they had the best defense in the NFL last year?
The Seahawks still have
Russell Wilson. Yeah,
Wilson.
They still have him. Keep in mind that Los Angeles made Russell Wilson look bad last year.
Mm-hmm.
You think he's going to fall for that again?
He might.
I don't know, man. I don't know the one thing that I don't know is what does Seattle have? I know they have DK Metcalf. They have a potent offense. Is Russell Wilson still that answer?
What?
He started out gangbusters last year, but then tapered off.
Yeah, I think the Rams still got some work that needs to be done with them.
Even with getting Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, I think he's a decent quarterback, but it's not just him though. It's the whole O-line. You know what I'm saying? So it's.
Whoa.
Well, and that too, they're healthy on the offensive line. The Rams are this year. Last year they were not.
Whoa.
The one problem that they have is they aren't healthy in the running back situation.
So the Rams was not healthy on the O-line. They went 10-6. Was all defense?
It was pretty close to it. I mean, they had the best defense in the NFL last year. I mean, Green Bay made them look bad on fucking defense last year. But then again, if that game was in Los Angeles, I think Los Angeles probably would have beat Green Bay.
Okay, so now that they have this guy from Detroit Lions, a quarterback from the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He did pretty well last year on the fucking fantasy. I don't know. Maybe the Rams is a problem in that division.
I'm gonna go with 49ers.
Why you say that?
They're healthy. I don't want to pick the 49ers, but they're healthy. Jimmy Garoppolo is not going to be the quarterback for the whole year. I think Trey Lance, they drafted, and he's the third pick in the draft this past year. Trey Lance will take over at quarterback for the 49ers.
And where's he from?
Came from North Dakota State.
Mm-hmm.
He's a pretty good quarterback. He He can run and throw. He's what Colin Kaepernick should have been, but better.
And it's his first year.
Yeah, well, they rely a lot on the run. San Francisco does. They're a run-first team. Unless Mike Shanahan decides to put the ball in the quarterback's hands, like he did in Super Bowl 50, whatever it was, 51 or 50.
Mm-hmm.
And then it cost him the game. But I don't know. I personally think that the 49ers are the best team in the NFC West.
I think the 49ers is a third place team.
Even with as good as they were 2 years ago, with everybody returning.
See, I don't think that would make a difference with them.
Okay. I'm picking the 49ers just because I think that when healthy, they can destroy Green Bay in the NFC Championship game. And they threw the ball 8 times in that game. So I that scares me.
Yeah.
I just hope Green Bay shored up their fucking run defense. Because I think that's who is their threat in the NFC. It's not the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's not the Los Angeles Rams. And it's not the Washington Redskins or the Dallas Cowboys. It is the San Francisco 49ers. Just based on what I've seen and who they have, that scares me. And what they were able to do 2 years ago with what they have, I don't know, man. I don't know, but I mean,
I'm gonna go with Seahawks taking it.
Okay. Seattle. Again, I'm going with San Francisco. Bob, are you back? Doesn't look like it. All right. Heather?
I'm going 49ers.
And Heather's going 49ers as well. Now, remember, this is all opinion-based. This doesn't mean that I think this doesn't mean that is what is going to happen. And I keep reiterating this because I had a lot of people tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about. It's called an opinion. Everybody has an opinion. Most of them stink. But everybody has an asshole too, and all of them stink. So, my opinion doesn't mean I'm right, doesn't mean I'm wrong. But that's just my thought process. Based on what I see or have seen. All right, let's get to the AFC West. The Chiefs won this division last year because the other 3 teams were, well, should I say mediocre at best?
For the Chiefs or this whole division?
Well, no, the Chiefs are pretty good. I think the Chiefs would have won any division in the AFC last year. They beat all the really good teams in the AFC last year. They beat the Ravens. They beat Pittsburgh. They beat Indianapolis. They beat Tennessee. They beat the Bills. They beat the shit out of the Bills twice. So, yeah, I'm gonna stick with the Chiefs. And our old friend, DJ Skinny Penis is gonna like what I have to say here. Do not sleep on the Chargers. I'm not saying the Chargers are going to win the division, but I think the Chargers are going to make the playoffs. I think they're going to be that 7th team in the playoffs. What says you, Rayshawn?
I agree with you with the Chiefs, but not the Chargers.
Who else do you see? I don't see the Raiders or the Broncos.
Definitely not the Broncos.
I mean, the Broncos are close defensively, but offensively, they don't
They're a
have.
shit show.
Well, they're not a shit show.
I was going to say Broncos.
I mean, they're up and coming, but we'll see. I think Chargers are that. They have done some things in the offseason to fix Justin Herbert. I have said it. Should have been the first pick in the draft, and I will continue to say that. That is just my opinion. Again, just my opinion. I'm going to go with the Chiefs.
Same.
Chargers being that 7th playoff team. Heather, who you got?
As much as I hate it, I'm going with the Chiefs.
Okay. I don't hate it. I think they're the best team in the AFC West, but it is what it is. All right. So, we're going to skip my 7 teams in the AFC are the Browns, the Ravens, the Titans, the Chiefs, and the Chargers. And I think that's how many teams? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The Bills and the Dolphins are going to be my 7 teams in the AFC. My 7 teams in the NFC are going to be the 49ers and the Rams, the Saints and the Buccaneers. Did I pick Dallas or did I pick Washington? I picked Dallas, did I not? The Washington, Green Bay, and Seattle. Those are the 7 teams that I'm picking. The 2 teams that I see in the NFC title game are Tampa Bay and Green Bay. And I see Green Bay finally getting the job done. Not because I'm a fucking Packers fan. I just think that they are a year older and a year wiser and have done some things to fix their issues. So I'm going with Green Bay and Tampa Bay in the NFC Championship game. I pick Green Bay to make it to the Super Bowl. In the AFC, I have the Ravens taking on the Bills. I do see the Ravens barely. If they can stay healthy as they can. They can't afford any more injuries, especially on offense. I see the Ravens getting past the Bills. And this preseason, folks, don't fucking hate on me. And I see the Ravens getting past the Bills, and you're going to get a Packers-Ravens Super Bowl. This house, I may throw Heather out the window. But I see the Packers getting past the Ravens barely, but I see them getting past them. Aaron Rodgers and the offense has just a little bit more than what Baltimore does. That's what I see. They don't have to pick all 14 teams in the playoffs. You can do whatever you want there, Rayshawn. But what do you have?
As far as you just said a lot, and I was trying to follow along with your bracket.
So I have the 49ers, the Seattle Seahawks, and the Los Angeles Rams, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the New Orleans Saints. And then I had Washington and then Green Bay in the NFC.
Are you talking about your picks or just like...
These are my 7 teams that I think are making the playoffs. Now, I can sit here and tell you that my sleepers are Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it in the NFC. In the AFC, the Steelers are still a sleeper. The Colts are still a sleeper. And The Patriots are still a sleeper. Are a sleeper.
Well, I don't think the Buccaneers is gonna win the NFC division this year.
Me neither. I think it's going to be Green Bay. I think Green Bay is going to get over that hump.
I mean, Green Bay. Sometimes they don't know how to start, but they know how to finish, and vice versa.
Yep.
So I don't know what kind of Packers we getting this year.
You're going to get about the same Packers you got last year.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit better on defense. You're going to get a little bit more productivity on offense. I think they have more weapons than they did last year, even though they didn't have but one weapon. Aaron Jones needs to learn how to hold on to the football. They're paying him a lot of fucking money. They're paying him like $12 million a year to fucking run the football. You better fucking hold on to that goddamn thing, or I'm cutting his ass. Find me.
Seahawks can be a problem.
Their defense is, and I just seen it, their defense has taken a hit. Like, they don't have Bobby Wagner, or no, they don't have a couple of the guys that they had last year that were the base for that defense. They lost a cornerback.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, man. I mean, that could hurt them, but that may help them. They may have fixed the problem there.
I don't even want to talk about the Eagles.
What?
Nothing. Yeah, so I got the Packers going for the NFC, and as far as the AFC, going with Buffalo.
Okay, so you're going to have Packers, Buffalo Bills, Super Bowl. Who do you have winning?
Who's more hungry? Who's more hungry?
Well, both teams are probably going to be hungry. Buffalo's lost 4 Super Bowls in a row.
They got something to prove, man.
Yeah.
The
Packers, in my opinion, the Packers have a lot to prove as well. And I'm not trying to say you're wrong here, because both of them have a lot to prove. Every team in the NFL has a lot to prove. I can agree with you.
Buffalo, but compared to Buffalo and Packers, being that the Buffalo was so close, so
Yeah.
4 years in a row, I think they should take it, man.
Remember that was back in the 90s.
I mean,
I wouldn't be if Green Bay wasn't going to be in the Super Bowl, I'd be pulling for Buffalo as well. I'm not gonna lie, because I think they could do some things. I think they have a good young football team.
I'm gonna go with the Bills.
That's fine. I'm not gonna. You're off the show. I'm kidding. No, I appreciate it. I kid, everybody. I appreciate it. Good pick. I mean, pretty good pick from somebody that has only been watching football for 3 years. I mean, it's a bold pick, but the reason I say bold is Buffalo. I think they're missing one ingredient, and that's on defense. They have a really good defense, but some things they just don't do well, and I think it has to do with their linebacking core, and that could hurt them. Because last year, they got run over with that running game from Kansas City, who Kansas City doesn't really have a running game, but they get that should scare you as a.
They kept breaking through the line, and I saw it. It's just I don't think they're gonna make the same mistakes.
We shall see. I mean, they would be one of my picks. They are one of my picks to make it that far. Now, keep in mind, this is preseason. This could change. This could change easily. Heather, who do you think is going where with what?
agree with you with the Packers.
Yeah, you just want that to happen.
Huh?
Nothing. I was being a smart ass. Whatever. Anyway, go ahead.
I do see a very
Mm-hmm.
but if they are down to that second and third string, the Ravens will destroy them.
Well, of course, but I don't think they'd get that far. It'll never get that far. Trust me. They aren't going to play their second and third string unless they absolutely positively have to. If they start losing players like that, then they're going to end up going out and picking up the best player available. They're going to start making trades. Like if Aaron Rodgers goes down, Jordan Love's going to step in, but then they're defensively they're going to start picking up free agents because they need to. They're going to start making. They may only have one pick in the draft next year because they'll trade away their first round pick to pick up somebody. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah. So that being said, Bob, I don't know if you're still alive out there or if you whatever. Yeah. By the way, that's me. I blessed them. And I'll continue to bless them because I love that song. So that being said, let's do news and notes, and then we'll do the picks. So there's just a couple of things. And then I'll do a rant, and then we'll do the picks. Well, I'll do a rant at the end. I'll do a rant at the end. So a couple of things. Rayshawn already brought this up. There is now 17 games in the season, so there's 18 weeks in the NFL season this year. Hence why they got rid of the fourth preseason game. So they only have 3 preseason games this year. Why are you lost right now? I'm honestly so lost right now. Don't be lost. We just did picks for the NFL. So we're going to talk about some things like the rule change. There's really no real big rule changes. The only rule change is that there's 17 games for this NFL season. They took away one preseason game so that they could play the 17 games. There was something out there last year, and we talked about it, was that they were going to fucking say that you could only have each team could only have their players play 16 games. This is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever fucking heard, and that was a concept of a rule that they thought would work to protect their players, but you have to be dumb in the fucking head to think that anybody's going to pay money to go and watch fucking Kurt Benkert fucking go ahead. It'd be a preseason game. Then why even just play 4 preseason games?
Right.
Don't make it a regular season game. The reason that they have the 7 teams and only 1 bye is to force teams to have to play all their players. It's more money for the NFL because it's about the almighty fucking dollar. I don't know if I like the 17-game rule just for the simple fact. Well, I kind of do because then that way there can't really be ties unless there's that odd game.
Yeah.
You won't have many tiebreakers. You can have tiebreakers, but there isn't going to be as many with that odd game. Tiebreakers, I think, are the typical same. Other than that, I don't think there's really anything with the rules changes. Just the one that Rayshawn brought up that I totally forgot. Anything else, Rayshawn, on the rules changes you didn't see? Just that one, right?
Yeah, they were just expressing that. That's all.
Okay. Let me see. The only other thing that I wanted to talk about, and I talked about it on my stream last night, and it is a real thing, is that Deshaun Watson is on the trading block. So Houston is listening to offers. And if I'm Houston, I ask for the fucking world. I'll get to the questions and answers here in a minute. What? Deshaun Watson is going through legal problems. If you didn't know, Deshaun Watson last year, which is going to be my rant about players having a say-so, having too much of a say-so when it comes to player personnel and decisions on a team. That's where the problem started. The other problem started where all of a sudden it comes out that there were women out there that were saying he did this and he did this hashtag Me Too thing. I don't know if it's true. He's being investigated. And right now, with all of the baggage that Deshaun Watson is carrying, they're shopping him. And whether or not anybody will bite, I don't know. Who needs a quarterback right now? I can look at one team in particular, two teams in particular, in the NFC East that could use a quarterback that would fit with what they want to do. Deshaun Watson would fit beautifully in Philadelphia. Deshaun Watson would fit in with Washington. He would fit in with Minnesota. He'd fit in with Carolina. But Carolina went out and got Sam Darnold. He'd fit in with the Broncos. Huh?
I said that's a good pick for Carolina.
Going with Broncos. Broncos could use him. I don't see any other team that really needs him. The Colts could probably use him. The Steelers. The Bengals know, the Ravens know, and the Browns know. So there's like 7 or 8 teams out there that could take him. Just, if I'm Houston, I'm asking for the world because you're giving up the best player you got on your team, and you don't want to just give away a 4th round pick. There is a reason why DeAndre Hopkins was traded for a 4th round pick, because I think he is just a mouth and he can't keep it shut. The guy thinks he's the best player that's ever played the game. He's good, but I don't think he's as good as... He's not the best receiver in the game. He's getting paid as the best receiver in the game. Devontae Adams will get his money, whether it's with Green Bay or whether it's with a different team. That's all I got to say about that. Other than that, there really is no real news. Oh, the one other thing is the game between Green Bay and New Orleans was moved to Jacksonville. There was talk that they were going to move that game to Dallas, but Jerry Jones thought that, and I don't blame him because it's money that he is getting from the people, is they're doing a concert that day. And they don't want to have to move the concert. They want to have the concert, so they're moving the NFL game to Jacksonville. Everybody's bitching, well, it should be in Dallas because Dallas is close to New Orleans. Well, talk to fucking Jerry Jones. He's the one that would much rather have a concert. And if it's a money thing, why should Jerry Jones give up his stadium to an NFL? I mean, I can tell you right now, their Green Bay fans would show up, but it's a home game for New Orleans. If you aren't going to get enough New Orleans fans there, then why even fucking do it?
Right.
So Jacksonville is hosting the Packers-Saints game. So that's pretty much it for the news and notes. There is a question in there, and I don't know if he's trying to be funny.
He literally knows nothing about football.
Okay, well, that's good. That's why you're here. Chris asked the question, what does a tight end do? Rayshawn, can you answer what a tight end does?
No, I can't answer that.
Okay. So Rayshawn's going to learn something new. A tight end, back in the old days, was essentially an offensive lineman who was an eligible receiver to run downfield. Now, if you watched way back in the day, the NFL, the forward pass was not really a thing. What you see today was never a thing in football. Go look it up, go Google it, or whatever you want, whatever platform you want to use as to what the forward pass came to be a thing. Everybody used to run the ball. There was always turn around and pitch the ball to the guy behind him. That was football at the time, and they had a tight end. The tight end became a thing where, now keep in mind, offensive linemen cannot be eligible because they are covered. And what I mean by that is you have to have 7 men on the line of scrimmage. You can't have 8. Well, you can have 8, but you can't throw the ball. You can, but those people cannot go off for a pass. Those 8 people. Then at that time, you only have 2 eligible receivers, which is almost impossible to fucking do. So you're going to essentially have one guy running a route, which makes no sense. So the tight end can cover up the offensive lineman, and as long as the slot receiver or the receiver is off of the line of scrimmage, that tight end is an eligible receiver. And the tight end is just a big 200. Nowadays, they're considered slot receivers, big wide receivers at 260, 250, 260, 240, whatever, somewhere in that range. And they're big. They have great hands. They catch the ball. Essentially, the tight end was used as an edge blocker to help the offensive line with mismatches so that they could get big yards and big gains. Well, then it became, hey, let's do forward pass. As long as 7 men are on the line of scrimmage and that guy is not the tight end isn't covered, he becomes an eligible receiver. So that's what a tight end is. A tight end is just essentially in today's game, he was a receiver. Back in the day, he was a blocker. He was essentially used as a blocker. So what you had is back in the olden day, you had 2 running backs, or 3 running backs, 1 wide receiver, 1 tight end. Or you had 2 tight ends, 2 running backs, and 1 receiver. Or you had 3 tight ends. There's so many things I could go into all of that. I'm putting Rayshawn to sleep, but I could go into X's and O's. Maybe I'll do that one day where I show people what I'm talking about. But a tight end is essentially a big wide receiver in today's game. Back in the day, he wasn't. So there's that. So like your tight end, who is Zach Ertz?
Zach Ertz, yeah.
Is considered one of the best tight ends in the league. Back in the early 70s, 60s, he was used as a blocker. Mostly. Yes, he could go out for passes and such, but he was essentially used as a blocker. Mike Ditka was a tight end in the NFL. I think he was a tight end, yeah.
Speaking of Zach Ertz, not that it matters. I mean, at least to me, he's saying that he wanted to retire as an Eagle.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Props to him. I hope it happens. He's pretty good. He's a pretty good ball player. His wife plays for the U.S. women's soccer team.
Oh, yeah? That's what's up.
I can't remember her name. I know her last name is Ertz, but if I remember correctly, she played for the University of Wisconsin soccer team. If I remember correctly. Don't quote me on that. So there's that. If they're, like I said, cool.
Oh, no.
Just relax. We're good. We're back. Sorry, guys. For some reason, OBS disconnected and reconnected. I apologize. We're back, though. Relax. We're back. Let's get this quick. So, yes, essentially, the tight end who today receives the ball, but he still can block. Anybody can block. A receiver can block. A tight end can block. A quarterback can block. Another running back can block. But tight ends can go off for passes. It's always been a thing. It's just teams didn't understand the concept at first. But yes, maybe I'll do a weekly talk on what position does what the concept of the position is. I'll do the Google definition or the Google definition of what each position is, but I'll tell you exactly what they do. Maybe I'll give you a little history on the said position. That'll be a little segment. But keep asking those questions. So that being said, we are at the end. And I want to try to keep this show to about an hour and a half. Where we talk in segments. There is one rant that I did want to go on before we do our... No, we'll do our pick and then I'll do my rant. If there's anything that any of you wants to rant about, go ahead. But let's get to our pick. Now, we're only going to pick one game tonight. We'll pick the other 15 on Saturday's show, next week's show, where we'll pick the week 1 games. But since Thursday's game, there's one game that plays on Thursday, and that is the Cowboys at the Buccaneers. And our shows are going to be on Saturdays. They're not going to be on Tuesdays. They're not going to be on Wednesdays. They're going to be on Saturdays. So what I want everybody to do is get your thinking brains on. This is where your picks could win you some prizes. Now, Heather's going to go into my Teespring store, and she's going to create some items. That being said, Rayshawn, you can't win this year.
Yep.
You can win bragging rights by picking the right answers for games for us.
Right.
And I might do something for that too. I give you a certificate of achievement or something. I don't know.
I'll make a trophy.
The participation award.
Participate. Everybody is participating. But Heather's got an idea. She's got ideas. But you never know. We might do something. We shall see. Now, Bob, if you are still awake, ready, or just let everybody know, we're gonna have a talk after we can. I know his internet is wonky, but he's still there because he might have fallen asleep too. I don't know. I'm not gonna. But if you fall asleep, we need to talk. I love you, brother. But come on. All right. So that being said, the one game we're gonna pick, the Cowboys at the Buccaneers. Now keep in mind, this game is in Tampa Bay. Dallas is coming off a bad year. They do get Dak Prescott back. I don't know if they shored up their defensive issues. Tampa Bay has everybody returning this year. I'm going with Tampa Bay, but it's going to be closer than everybody thinks. Going with Tampa Bay. Rayshawn, what says you?
I agree.
Okay.
It's just a better team, that's all.
Tampa Bay for Rayshawn. Heather, your pick is?
I'm going Buccaneers. I don't think Dak is going to be up to speed.
I don't think he's not going to be up to speed. I just don't think he has enough. Just their defenses. That defense in Tampa Bay is pretty brutal. That they have the offense to compete. I'm not going to sit here and say that they aren't, but we shall see. Now, like I said, and that's the only pick we're going to do for this tonight. But don't fret. If you didn't get your pick in here, we will add you to the Discord chat. What I want you to do is I want you to DM Heather the Discord.
I will put it in the group chat.
Yeah, if you haven't created a Discord, don't worry, you don't have to. You can put it in DM chat, or you can put it here in this chat. I don't want to spend all this time sitting here in the chat and then waiting on everybody to make their picks so I can keep the show moving. But I see that Cody and Trek put Tampa Bay.
Yep, I got some.
So if you want to be a part of that, we will have you guys added to the DM chat. And then we will also add you to the Discord chat. It's just one pick. Cowboys at the Buccaneers, Chris. And like I said, we'll add you to the DM chat, the DM chat. We will also add you, if you have Discord. If you don't have Discord, do not worry. You don't have to be. It's just something that we did. And you can talk in there. You can put picks in there. You can ask questions in there. And I'll look at the questions. I'll have Heather or me go in there, or Rayshawn or Bobby can go in there, and we'll look at them. And then we'll answer your questions. We'll have a segment where we answer questions. Or I'll answer questions or whatever. So if you have Discord, you need to send your Discord name to Heather in DMs. Oh my God.
I send them an invite link. I said that 4 fucking times.
Don't fucking yell at me. So she will put it in the DM chat. She will send you an invite, and we will add you to the Discord. If you don't have Discord, it's fine. Just put it in your pick in the DM chat. Good Lord. All right. I want to go on my rant here, and I want to talk about these Aaron Rodgers. I think he's one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game. As a Packer fan, I've been blessed with 30 years of quarterbacks, right? 30 years. The Packers organization, Packers fans, have been spoiled with Pro Bowl Hall of Fame quarterbacks in Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. Okay? That being said, I think players should be players, coaches should be coaches, GMs should be GMs, owners should be owners. I've always said that. I've always been consistent with that. Can a player give input? Can a player give what he thinks? I'm not against that. If I had a player like Aaron Rodgers come to me and say, hey, I think this guy might help this team, I'll take it under consideration. But do I have to do what he says? Fuck that. This is what I would tell Aaron Rodgers personally, and I'd probably just cut my ties with him. If you want to have input, if you want to fucking have a say-so on everything that this team does, go own your own team, go be Jerry Jones, and be mediocre while still making money at it. That's me personally. Again, this is my opinion. I'm not always right. I just don't think that a player should be telling a coach, well, we need to do this. Or telling a GM, we need to do this. I think if we don't get this player, I'm going to hold out because I've been with this organization. I've given this organization everything. So the GM hasn't. The fucking coach hasn't. These other 52 guys haven't given their all. Some of these guys get hurt protecting your ass.
Yeah.
I personally am not going to sit here and justify having a football player tell an owner, I want to be traded because you aren't giving me a say-so. You're a player. I'm your boss. You don't tell me how to run my fucking team. I have a GM for that. If you want to give him input, give him input. That doesn't mean that I'm going to fucking do it. I'll take it under advisement. But I'm not, there's no guarantee. Because sometimes monetarily, it don't fucking work. And this is what people don't understand. They went out and gave Deshaun Watson a 6-year, $150 million contract extension last year. And then they fired O'Brien, and they didn't give him any input. Okay. I understand them not if it was in his contract where it said he should have a say-so in this, that's on Houston. Because I would never put that in a contract saying that the quarterback or my best player should have a say-so in anything that this team does, player personnel-wise or organization-wise. Because if that was the case, I would just hand over the keys to him and say, okay, motherfucker, if you think you can do better, if you want to go out and get all these players, tell me how you're going to do it monetarily. Because it has to fall under the rules of the NFL. You can't just go out and all these fucking fans saying just give him what he wants. But you can't just do that because then you're going to run into the problem. Green Bay is $50 million over the salary cap after this year. And everybody's saying we got to give Davante Adams his money. Where are you going to get it? Green Bay cannot afford to fucking be over the salary cap. They rely on being under that salary cap so that they can keep players. It is so hard. Green Bay is a publicly traded organization. Everybody says they're fan owned. No, they're not. They're a publicly traded company. And everybody wanting fucking Mark Murphy to be fired. Well, guess what, you fucking clowns? Think about this for a fucking minute. You are the dumb fuckers that voted him in to where he's at. He's the president. You voted him in. I'd shut the fuck up. That's me personally. Monetarily, sometimes you cannot fucking make the decisions, make the moves. If you paid attention to all the money movement Green Bay's done, I went in and looked. They signed a player to a $25 million contract, and a lot of it is bonuses. They void the final 3 years of that contract because they can't fucking pay it. Because they're over the salary cap. I don't know how the fucking salary cap works, but I just know Green Bay is going to be $50 million over the salary cap next year. So everybody wanting these Aaron Rodgers to have all the say-so, you are the dumbest people I fucking know. Aaron Rodgers should not have a say-so on anything. He can give a suggestion. That doesn't mean I have to fucking listen to it. And if he wants to go because they didn't take his suggestion and didn't do anything with it, then bye-bye, bitch. We don't need you here. That's my opinion. You don't like it? I don't care. That's all I have to say on that subject. That's my rant for the week. I'm pretty sure I'll have a rant on Thursday about refereeing or Tom Brady. It might be on Tom Brady, but we'll see. Rayshawn, you got anything you want to?
No, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have my fair share of rant.
Okay.
But not, probably not this week.
Okay. Fair enough. Heather, be anything you want to talk about? Okay. So that being said, I think we're good. I hope everybody has a glorious weekend.
Speaking of glorious, whatever happened to that dude?
He's still there.
Oh, okay.
It was funny. We'll talk offline because I seen a tweet from Dolph Ziggler last night. It was pretty funny. I want to thank everybody for being here. Look, this is a work in progress. Like I said, I want you people, if you don't know that much about football, I know my fair share. I can give you the basics. You want to ask me a question like Chris did? What is a tight end? I'll tell you what a tight end is. Heather has a tight end. Did you get that, Joe? Did you get it? See?
Uh-huh.
Just throwing that out there. Rayshawn, for your first show, pretty good. I like it. Good input. Same goes to you. I know you've only been watching football. You don't know everything about football. 3 years. Ask questions. That's what this is all about. Next week we'll have more with the College Corner. We'll talk about the Clemson-Georgia game, which is happening right now. It is 10-0. Clemson is losing with 9:28 to go. It's a tight one. I might go on a rant about college football. I almost wanted to go on a rant about Wisconsin today, but I figured I'd let that go. But Heather,
what's your favorite college team?
Well, it's Wisconsin because I'm from Wisconsin. However, I love Florida State, and I love Florida State because I love Bobby Bowden. Bobby Bowden. I idolize Bobby Bowden. Like my favorite term is dadgum. And he used to say, we got to move that dadgum ball. Like I used to say that at halftime to all my players all the time. They're like, dude, you're not from the South. You don't understand. It's a Bobby Bowden thing. We just can't dadgum do this. It was better than me saying we can't fucking do this. You dadgum it, you got to do this. Dadgum it, you got to do that. Because trust me, I have a fucking potty mouth. See? So yeah, I highly tell you, I highly suggest to everybody watch college football because the people that you're watching in the NFL, 99% of these guys played in college.
Right. Goes hand in hand. You're gonna see them on the field.
Who? No,
I was saying that the college and the NFL games go hand in hand.
Watch college football. Watch college football. It doesn't. You don't have to watch your favorite team every week. You get that. It's most college football is regionalized, but you get to watch some of the great young talent play. Frank Kaminsky was great in college.
Mm-hmm.
He was. He was player of the year for a reason.
Oh man, he wasn't player of the year in that game though.
Hey. I'm going to tell you right now, the NBA Finals, that Game 6, if it wasn't for Frank Kaminsky, they would have gotten run out of that gymnasium quicker than stink on shit. He kept them in that game, so he can still play. He was good in college. You'll hear me say that a lot. You'll hear me say he was good in college. You'll hear me say that a lot. So, yeah. But I want to thank everybody. I might get a Kaminsky jersey. You never know. But stay afloat. You got a question? Please DM it. Y'all know my DM. Stay positive. And lately I've been ending with, because of this pandemic shit, stay safe, be well, and see, I told you. And if you are feeling sick, and if you are having a downtime, just know I am here. I will listen. And please, 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 if you all are offended by me and what I say, please DM me. I'm talking to everybody. Please DM me. I try not to, but when somebody says something, in that moment, I am answering the question the way I think it should be answered. I'm not trying to be a dick. Okay? I don't think I'm trying to be a dick here, because that's not what this is about. This is about me talking football with friends. Okay? If you don't know much about football, that's why I said ask questions. And if you ask me questions like, why did this team lose? Only thing I can honestly tell you is they just didn't perform better than the other team. Should they have won? Probably. That being said, Rayshawn, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Yeah. What happened to Ajayi?
I'm sure you just said something important, and I didn't understand that at all. Say that one more time.
What happened to Ajayi?
Oh, Ajayi? Injuries? I think. He was hurt all the time.
Yeah.
He had that one good year. He had 2 good years, and then all of a sudden he fell off. I think it's because injuries did him in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't even see him in Madden anymore, to be honest with you. But yeah, so any other questions, Rajon? Anything you want to say? Any shout outs? Any?
No, I'm good. Just appreciate everybody stopping by.
Yep, I appreciate everybody stopping by too. This will be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
If you want, like I said, questions, don't be afraid to ask them. I will answer them to the best of my ability. I can only answer them once, though. If somebody asks me what a tight end does next week, I'll say refer back to what I said last week or Google it yourself. But I might do that next week in fact, I will. What is a quarterback? What does a quarterback do? I will talk about each position to the best of my ability. And I'll give you the Google answer, and then I'll give you what I think the answer should be. And usually Google is pretty close to the answer.
But you would have the experience, though.
Yes, and I appreciate that, but I don't want to fucking lead people wrong, because I know my explanation of the tight end there was, I might even explain it a little better next week. But I'm gonna go quarterback, running back, fullback, which fullbacks are becoming obsolete in the NFL. Offensive linemen, each position there, and we can run through that. I think there's like 17 positions in the NFL, and I can get all of them in each week. I'll explain.
Awesome.
How wide is the football field? It is 53 1/3 yards. It is 120 feet, 120 yards long. Do you want to know why it's 120 yards long? That's from end line to end line.
Yep.
Goal line to goal line, it's 100 yards. End line, which is the back of the end zone to the back of the end zone, is 120 yards. So there you go.
Interesting facts.
Yeah, facts. Why does Oregon have funky ass fucking uniforms? Because the guy that fucking went to college there owns Nike, and he can do that.
Why is it called football when they touch the ball with their hands most of the time?
They do kick it. I don't know. See, I'll look that up, and I might answer that question next week. Why do they call it football when they use their hands? It's a good question. I don't know. Soccer should be called football, but it's called soccer here. I don't know why. I don't know. It's a good question. These are good questions. I'll try to answer them. Why do they call it as pigskin when they use cowhide? I don't know. Well, no, there's a reason why. There's a story behind the reason why. I think the first football was a pigskin. So, but I will look those answers up. Ask me questions like that, and it gives me something to look up, and I'll look it up and answer your question. We'll go from there. So that being said, everybody have a great night, and we will talk to you next week on Saturday when we pick our football games. We'll talk about Thursday's game a little bit. We'll talk about college football. We'll go over I'm sure I'll have something to rant about. I'll figure something out to rant about, and we'll pick our football games. And that will be...
I was going to say we have to go over basements. Wow. Bobby's picks?
Yep. Well, I kind of wanted to do the top 10 tonight, which I will give you the top 10 according to the AP poll and college football poll. I'll go through the top 25. I'll just run through them really quick. I'm not going to spend too much time on them. I might tell you why I disagree with it real quick, but I'm not going to fucking spend all day on it. All right, number 25 is Arizona. State. The Arizona State Sun Devils are ranked number 25. Number 24 is Utah Utes. And if you don't know what a Ute is, it is an Indian. It is the natives from Utah. The Louisiana Raging Cajuns are number 23. They played Texas today, by the way. Number 22 is Coastal Carolina. Number 21, the Texas Longhorns. Number 20, the Washington Huskies. Number 19, Penn State. They should be higher, in my opinion. 18, Iowa. They should be higher, in my opinion. These are all teams I hate, too, by the way. Number 17, Indiana. Overrated. They got destroyed today. Number 16, LSU. Number 15, University of Southern California, or USC. You'll hear me refer to them as USC when we talk about them. The University of Miami is number 14. Overrated. But then again, they played fucking Alabama. Number 13, Florida Gators. Number 12, the University of Wisconsin. They suck. I'm from Wisconsin. They suck.
Oh, wow.
University of Oregon is number 11. Number 10 is North Carolina. They're overrated. They got beat. Number 9 is Notre Dame. Number 8 is University of Cincinnati Bearcats. What is a Bearcat? I don't know. Number 7 is Iowa State Cyclones, justifiably named because we're in Tornado Alley here. And Iowa State is probably like 2.5 hours away from where I live. Number 6 is Texas A&M. Number 5 is Georgia, who is ahead of Clemson right now, who is number 3. Number 4 is Ohio State. Number 3 is Clemson. Number 2 is Oklahoma. Overrated. They almost lost to Tulane today, which is a small university in New Orleans. Pretty bad. Number 1 team, of course, is Alabama. I'll go into next week if some of these teams are questionable if they should be in the top 25 or not. So, but I won't go into that. So with that being said, there's your top 25 college football teams for this year. Like I said, everybody stay safe, be well, and we'll catch you next week right back here at about 7:30 our time. We'll try to only go for like an hour and a half. So yeah, everybody stay safe, be well. All you down there in Hurricane Ida, this is one thing I wanted to say real quick. With you in Hurricane Ida, stay safe, be well, be kind to others, and don't worry, I am invested. With that being said, with that being said, everybody stay positive, stay safe, and be well. Have a good night, everybody.
All right.